let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what actually separates those who succeed versus those who fail in business, right? Because I'm sure you've heard both sides of the story, okay? And so after speaking with thousands of hopeful nutrition professionals who are going into business and starting their own businesses, we've recognized a pattern, okay? And so this pattern truly increases their chances of actually hitting their goals if they have these three key traits, okay? Can you guess what those are? So the big question is, how do health experts like you and I generate more income, impact more people, and create businesses that work around their lifestyle and serve their family at the highest possible level? If you want the answer to that question, then you're in the right place at the right time. Whether you're a dietitian, a nutritionist, or a nutrition coach, this is for you. My name is Dr. Javier Carlin, and I want to welcome you to the Practice Revolution. We are a movement that is revolutionizing the way private practices are built so you can practice on your terms. So go ahead and join us and follow along as we learn, apply, and share the top business growth strategies that we're using to grow our own business and to help you grow yours, using only the best insights and advice from top industry leaders. So thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Super excited to be here with you all. So my name is Javier Carlin. I'm a physical therapist. This is Marissa Carlin, and she's a registered dietitian. And we are the co-founders of the Practice Revolution, where we help dietitians and nutrition coaches to replace their income, break free from their JOB, get to the point where they're making 10K per month and beyond. We are covering the three key traits of successful business owners. How many of you would love to become a successful business owner? So let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what actually separates those who succeed versus those who fail in business, right? Because I'm sure you've heard both sides of the story, okay? And so after speaking with thousands of hopeful nutrition professionals who are going into business and starting their own businesses, we've recognized a pattern, okay? And so this pattern truly increases their chances of actually hitting their goals if they have these three key traits, okay? Can you guess what those are? Can you guess what those are? If you can't, no worries, we're about to share them with you. But at the end of the day, what we hear quite often is, I have a goal of getting a bigger home, right? Or some will say, I want more flexibility. I want more freedom to be able to travel wherever I want without anyone ever telling me that I can or can't go, right? Does that sound familiar? Is that something that you'd like to see as well, right? For some, it's making six figures in their practice, okay? And so those things are all great, okay? They're all amazing. And I'm so happy that most of you have those goals. But here is what I need to tell you, okay? There are three main characteristics that will actually skyrocket your chances of actually hitting those goals, okay? Because to be completely honest with you, with all those people that we've talked to, nearly everyone that we speak to says the exact same thing, okay? So sorry to break it to you, but the goals you might have are not that unique. Okay. And so here's the interesting piece. Only a few of them that have those goals, that have those dreams, actually make it a reality. So the question then becomes like, why is that the case? Right. And I'm sure you're wondering, well, why is that? Okay. What are those three key traits that all successful business owners have? And you might be asking yourself, like, I'm curious, like, do I have these? And here's the thing, right? Whether you have these traits or not, the fact of the matter is that you can develop them and you can become the person that has these traits, that has these characteristics, so that you can make your dreams a reality. Okay, that's the very first thing you need to know. So, what is the first key trait? What is the first key trait?
All right, so the first key trait is to set specific targets and goals. And I know that sounds really cliche, okay, but it's true. And we're going to break it down for you in a second. So typically, we're getting on calls with many of you in this group, many dietitians, certified nutrition coaches who have the goal to start their own private practice. And typically we hear one of two options. Some of you, about half of you, when we're like, so, how much money do you want to make in your private practice? About half of you say, wow, I have no idea. That's a great question. Like, I've never thought about that before. Right? I have no idea how much money I want to make in my private practice, right? Because you haven't set those specific targets. You haven't set those specific goals for yourself, right? It's just this idea of a private practice, but there wasn't much more thought that's gone into it, at least in the financial aspect, right? And the goals that you want to achieve financially with your private practice, okay? And if you think about it, right, let's think of Uber. So think about it like driving an Uber, right? If you order an Uber and you get in, and the Uber is like, cool, where are we going? You say, I have no idea where I want to go. I don't know. Let's just drive around until we figure it out. That's like saying, how much money do you want to make it in private practice? I don't know. Let me just do it and figure it out as I go. You won't reach the goals that you don't set for yourself. Okay. So that's number one. That's about half of the people that we talk to. The other half of the people that we talk to, when we say, cool, what are your goals with your private practice? Like, how much income do you want to make? How many clients do you want to serve? Like, what do you want to do with your private practice? What do you see? What do you foresee for your private practice? What are the goals that you have? And the other half give us these blanket statements that we hear this like all the time. I want to travel. I want to buy a nice house. I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to make 5K a month, 10K a month. I want to hit 6 figures. I want to help more people, want to make more impact. I'm curious, like, what is it about the 5K per month or 10K per month or 6 figures? Like, what is it? Because those are the numbers. I never hear anyone say, I want to make 8K a month, or like 15K a month, or like 22K a month, or like 250,000. Like, it's always those numbers, right?
Yep.
So it's 5K, 10K, 6 figures. Okay. So that's my first question, I guess, to you all that are watching, right? What is it about those numbers that's so enticing to you?
Yeah. Why specifically is that so important for you to hit it? Right? Is it just because you hear everyone else saying it, and so it sounds good, and it's like, okay, that sounds like what I'd like to actually, go after? Or is it because you've actually sat down and realistically seen, based on the things that I want to do in my life, based on the amount of travel, the vacations that I want to have, the charities I want to donate to, right? What is it specifically about these numbers that are driving you to hit those, so that you have that fire inside of you to actually do the things required to get there, right? Because it's kind of like taking an Uber and just saying, okay, well, take me to the hotel, right? Take me to my friend's house.
Those are those blanket statements.
The blanket statements, right? It's like, oh, take me to the party, right? But it's still not specific enough. It's like, okay, like, what hotel, right?
What party?
What party are we going to? What friend, right? And so again, it's not specific enough, and you really have to dial that in. Otherwise, you're not going to get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the very successful business owners, on the other hand, they fall into another category, right? So there's 3 categories here. There's category 1, where people are like, I have no idea what I want. Category 2 is, I want to make 5K, 10K, 6 figures, those blanket statements, but they don't really know why they're saying those things. Category 3 is where the successful business owners are. And those are the business owners who have very specific targets. They know exactly what they're aiming for, and they are 100% sure of it. These are the people who have done the math. And it doesn't have to be crazy math. You don't have to go crazy about this, but you've actually sat down to think about it. And you're not just saying 5K, 10K, 6 figures, because you're hearing those numbers thrown around all the time, right? Let's face it. It's everywhere these days online. And so, have you done the math, right? Do you have a goal in mind? Do you have a specific number in mind that you would like to hit for your private practice? Okay, so setting those specific goals lets you reverse engineer how you're going to arrive at your destination. So taking the Uber example one last time, right? You get in the Uber and you say, I'm going to 1234 Alphabet Street, in Clearwater, Florida, take me there. The Uber driver is like, got it, we're going there. right? And so the Uber driver or the map is essentially going to say, we are currently here. We need to go here. This is the exact path how we're going to get there. And so that's what successful business owners have. They have specific goals and they have the path to get there.
100%. And just think about it, right? Very, very simple example, right? Let's say you have a target, like those red and white targets, right? And let's say you're just throwing darts at them, right? If you have no target, right? If you have no target, it's impossible to hit it. You can't hit a target you can't see. You can't hit a target that does not exist. Kind of like in basketball too, right? In basketball, let's say that there weren't any hoops on either side, right? There was nowhere to shoot the ball into. What would you have? You'd have a bunch of people running around with the ball like idiots, right? With no purpose, okay? And so you have to have a goal. You have to have a target, all right? So that you don't run around like an idiot, okay? So none of us run around like idiots, okay? None of us want that. A bunch of idiots running around, not a good idea, okay? And so that's key trait number one, okay? And you must have that. You must be very clear, very specific with what you want. And I'll add to that, you must also not be ashamed of declaring it. Don't be ashamed of saying you want to make, whatever it is per month and for what reason, right? Why is it? Because I bet you as a healthcare professional, right, as someone who's constantly helping people every single day, it's for a very good reason. And if anyone deserves it, you do, okay? So key trait number two. Key trait number two, very important. So listen here, okay? Key trait number two is the most successful people are action takers, okay? They are decision makers, okay? They make a decision for themselves. They make a decision for their own future, for their own family, and for their future clients, okay? We see so many people that are so scared to make a decision, a real decision. Okay, they're so scared to take action. They're so scared to do anything. And so they don't, and they stay stuck, right? So many people are scared to make the wrong decision. Maybe in the past, you've made a decision that turned out to be a quote unquote wrong decision. But here's what I want you to do, okay? I want you to go ahead and just take that experience and reframe that. What if instead it was not a wrong decision? It was not a bad decision. It just was the decision you had to make to help you figure out what exactly you needed instead, okay? Because just as important to know where we want to go, it's also very important to know where we don't want to go, what we don't want to do, okay? And so every single experience that you've had, whether you've decided it means something good or bad, there can always be a good lesson that you can pull from it. But it only benefits you if you see it as that, okay? And so don't let past previous experiences, okay, dictate your future, because what will happen is you won't go anywhere. You'll stay exactly where you're at, and that doesn't help anyone, okay? Because the only bad decision is indecision, okay? Meaning that you are stuck at the fork in the road. What happens if you hit a fork in the road? So there's two paths you can go. You're right in the middle. What happens if you decide or can't decide on which path to go? Like ever. Where do you stay?
You're gonna stay there.
Stay at the fork in the road. How long do you want to stay at that fork in the road? Probably not that long, okay? Because here's the thing, okay? If you just decide to pick a path, travel down it, and as you start taking a few steps, a few weeks go by, a few months go by, and you realize, you know what, this is not really where I wanted to go. What is the simple thing you do? You turn around and you just restart. Okay? But you'll never have that opportunity if you don't take that first step. Here's the second thing, okay, that we see so often when it comes to indecision, not taking action, not making decisions, okay? And so one of the key things that we've realized is that in a relationship, okay, so obviously Marissa and I are married, okay? In a relationship, you don't go into that relationship to marry your parent. You don't go in that relationship to marry your dad or your mom, okay? There's a very big difference between asking for permission from someone versus asking for support. Because when you were a kid, you asked your parents for permission. And so we've been trained our entire lives to ask for permission. But here's what you may or may not realize, okay? You're not a kid anymore, okay? You're not a kid anymore. None of us are kids anymore, right? You're an adult. We're adults. And so here's what you should be doing instead. You decide what's in your best interest. You decide what you want, okay? And then you tell those around you what you're going to do and why it's important to you, why it's something that you truly believe you are called to do. And then with those people around you, you simply ask them for their support with your decision.
Yeah. And so when we went into business, when we started our private practice, we decided for ourselves, right? We were both working 9 to 5s. We had, families, we had friends. And to be honest, we didn't tell them what we were doing. We just decided. We took on the identity of a business owner and we decided. And that's exactly what we did. We met with each other and we were like, this is what we're doing. But we didn't tell our friends. We didn't tell our families. We didn't ask them for their opinions. We didn't ask them for their permission, right? Because if I walked into my boss's office and said, hey, what do you think I should do, right? And she's going to say, no way, like stay here. This is a safe job. This is a 9 to 5. You're going to get pay raises every single year. You're going to get great health benefits. You're going to get insurance. You're taken care of, all this stuff, right? And our family, the same thing. They would have said, stay at your job, stay at your 9 to 5, right? And so we didn't ask them. We decided we were going to do something. We decided we were going to have our own businesses. And we told them, this is what we're doing, right? And it was the reason why they would have said no wasn't because they're not supportive. The reason they would have said no to us if we asked them if we should leave our jobs and start a business, the reason they would say no is because they were trying to protect us, right? They were trying to keep us safe. And so the crazy thing is, if you think, like, in all honesty, if we had went and asked for permission from our previous bosses, from our family, from our friends, I would say 99% of them would have told us no. And we wouldn't be here, sitting here today, talking to you guys right now, which is wild, right? We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this company. We wouldn't have this business. We wouldn't have been able to help, a couple of our clients, one in particular, make $84,000 in a month, right? If I had went into my boss's office and asked for permission, right? We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here, helping gut health dietitians sell 2 $2,900 programs in 2 weeks. We've helped another dietitian make $7K in 2 weeks, just this past 2 weeks, right? We've had a weight loss dietitian make $22K in a month. We wouldn't have been able to do that and have this impact on their business. And these people wouldn't be business owners and have the impact on their clients and have this, type of income if we had asked someone for permission. So we decided. So
true, 100%. And so remember this, and you can write this down, okay? Just go ahead and write this down because it's going to really serve you for the rest of your life, okay? Money loves speed. It loves people who take action and move quickly, right? Because action takers are what? They're money makers, okay? And poverty loves indecision. I'll repeat that. Money loves speed and poverty loves indecision. Okay. And so if you're ready to make a decision and take action, take that first step, because that's the only way you're going to be able to move forward and get one step closer to everything that you desire and everything that you deserve. Put it as a part of your identity. It is who you are. You are a successful business owner. Okay. You are now a decision maker. All right. And so that's the second key trait that you must have, must adapt and adopt. Okay. In order to be successful. Cool.
Cool.
All right. Number three. So the third trait of successful business owners is you must be a risk taker. There's no other way to put it. Okay. But not just blind risks. Okay. Like we're not jumping off, a cliff or anything like that. right? Without checking the bungee first, okay? Not just blind risk, but calculated risk, okay? Because so many people are so afraid to let go of the little bit that they have. They're so scared to let go of what they have in order to receive something greater in their lives, okay? Many of you are quite literally holding on to pennies so close to you that you're not seeing all of the abundance that's right in front of you, all of the abundance that's right there for the taking, okay? Start letting that abundance into your life. And to do that, you must be willing to sacrifice those pennies in the short term so you can benefit in the long term. It's kind of like your nutrition clients, right? Sometimes they have to make those short-term sacrifices in order to have the long-term health benefits. In the short term, it sucks. It feels uncomfortable. It's painful. But long-term, they feel amazing. They have this vitality, this energy. They're able to run around, play with their kids, avoid chronic diseases, avoid diabetes, avoid all these problems. But in that moment, it's not easy. But it takes a decision, right? It takes a decision to do that. And so it's no different with you. If you want to have a successful business, you need to make that decision, and you must also take a calculated risk, even though it feels uncomfortable in the moment. Even more so when it feels uncomfortable in the moment, because that means you're growing. That means you're going in the right direction. Okay. Now think about this. Think about it. All right. So let's say when it comes to taking risks, calculated risk, this would be an example of actually breaking down a calculated risk. Okay. So let's say, just a random number, let's say you invested $10,000, right, into learning business skills, marketing, sales, whatever it is. Okay. You invested $10,000. And with those $10,000, you learned to make $100,000 per year. Okay. And whether it took you a year or 2 years together, whatever it is, right, but you learned how to get to 100K per year. Let's say that's all you did. Let's say that your business skills didn't get any better as the years went on, which is unreasonable. Like, as the years go on, you should get better and better at what you do. And so you could be making $250K, $500,000, $1 million a year. Very, very possible. We have several friends who are doing it, right? So you can do that. But let's just say it got capped at 100K per year. Okay. Over 40 years of you making $100,000 per year in your own business, that is $4 million. Okay. $4 million. Now, we're going to go ahead and use some averages here. We know some of you make a little bit more than this. Some of you make a little bit less. But let's say on average, dietitian makes about $50,000 per year, right? So at $50,000 per year, okay, if we multiply that over 40 years, that equals $2.4 million, okay? $2.4 million. Now, here's what's interesting, right? We have example A where you invested 10K at the end of 40 years, right? You were able to bring in $4 million. And then we have example 2 where you didn't make a $10,000 investment. You were making 50K a year. Okay. And over 40 years, you made 2.4 million. Now, what costs you more? What costs you more? Was it the $10,000 investment, or was it the $1.6 million that you did not make because you did not make that original investment? Because in example A, you made 4 million. Example 2, you made 2.4 million. And so you literally missed out on, you paid life $1.6 million for not making a $10,000 investment. That's what we call a calculated risk. Okay.
It's like so on one hand, you have an investment, right? Mm-hmm. You can look at it as an investment. $10,000 is an investment that you're making in your business. But then on the flip side, right, you were talking about that cost of inaction, right? Yeah. So the cost of inaction, the cost of you not investing $10,000 in this specific example for your business is costing you $1.6 million, right? So think about that. It's an investment versus the cost of inaction. 100%.
So what's the bigger risk, right? Long term. That's where we go back to short-term sacrifice, long-term gain. Let go of the pennies now, the 10K, so that in 40 years, in this simple example, you have $1.6 million more. Okay, but it's that long-term gain. Set long-term vision. Okay?
Makes sense.
Because it's time for every single one of you to start betting on yourselves. It's time to start investing in yourself. We've talked to so many people already, right? That in November and December, they were like 2023, it's my year, baby. January, here I come. Then we have a chat in January and it's like February, baby, 2020.
Woo!
Yeah, February 2023. I'm just going to wait one more month. And they keep on delaying. Delay. Indecision. Okay, things don't get easier the more you wait. Okay, you develop this pattern, okay, this habit of indecision, which becomes harder and harder to break. So with that said, how many of you are going to break that pattern today? Okay, comment decision down below. If you're going to make a decision to make changes, not tomorrow, but today. Okay, comment decision below. So with all that said, just to recap, okay, 3 key traits of all successful business owners. Number 1, you set specific, clear targets that you can see and break down so you actually give yourself the best possible shot at hitting it, okay? Number 2, you need to take action. You can't sit, in the sidelines waiting for things to happen. It does not work that way. You're going to be waiting a very long time. You must take action. And number 3, you must take calculated risks, okay? Is this going to benefit you in the long term? And if it is, do it. Just do it, okay? So I don't know what that decision is for you, okay? There might be something big, there might be something small that you're holding back on, but hopefully this message tonight gave you the permission to act, the permission to go after your dreams, and the permission to have everything that you've ever wanted in life. So go out there and get it done.
All right.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Have a great night, everyone.
Good
Take
night.
care. Bye. Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for watching the show. I know your time is super valuable, and I know that you're here to learn how to grow a successful practice. So I have something special just for you. If you are a health expert who is in business or aspiring to be, and you're curious about how to grow a profitable, impactful practice, you're going to want to pay attention. Because as a person who is watching the show, I want you to win. So I've created a bundle of resources exclusively for those who are watching the Practice Revolution. So if you are tired of trying to figure out this game of business, marketing, and sales all on your own, and you're ready to implement what's already proven to work rather than reinventing the wheel, you're going to want to send us a private message on Instagram at The Practice Revolution. And simply just let us know that you watched this show, and we'll personally hand over $7,000 worth of trainings, resources, and coaching that is available only for those who are watching this show on YouTube. So if you want to know how to increase your income, impact, and build a practice that works for the lifestyle that you want and that serves your family at the highest level, send us a private message on Instagram at The Practice Revolution. Do it now so you can win big in your practice and in your life. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next show.